Alright, this is Grayson with Garvin's Plumbing and Sewer. We're at 9573 West Caley in Littleton. Currently we are at the city tap, about 65 feet out. Purpose for today's visit, we were called out because there was a wet spot on the carpet somewhat near the cleanout. So they wanted to camera the line just to make sure that there wasn't anything going on. Explained with the homeowner that it's a little difficult to see the cast iron, but there actually might be something visible. It's still a bit of a puzzling situation, but there's one or two areas of note in this sewer line. So we're at the tap. The tap looks good. It goes into SDR, and all the SDR looks good. There's one section though that almost looks like it's purposefully a giant little belly, and I don't understand what is going on there. Alright, so this is our weird spot. So we are transitioning from a little clay section to SDR 33 feet out. Little offset, not a big deal. But we're going to go underwater pretty quick. And we're going to go completely underwater. It isn't as visible right now because it's a little mixed up from me pushing my camera through, but I was able to see while underwater pushing out, and there's definitely some weirdness going on, but it almost looks like it was on purpose because there is like a 45, so it goes down and then it 45s up, so it's not like the pipe settled, it's like it was done that way somehow on purpose. I don't really understand, and it's hard to see what that little, if that's just buildup or if that's pipe has fallen, and maybe it just gives the appearance that it's done on purpose. Really weird. But it's like you go under that little area and then come up into the SDR transition. Now that transition, that little offset does show that, you know, maybe this section fell a little. I'm gonna pause the video and try and run some water, see if we can clear that out and get a image. Alright, so we ran water for a little bit, briefly spoke with the homeowner. We're gonna let it settle down a little because it's probably still mixing it around from that flow, but this is definitely not normal. And there's some sort of fabric-like substance or a rag or something, and I don't know if it's attached to that top part that's hard to see. We're going to try and go real slow so that we can see everything. So I don't know if something has collapsed or what. But then there's a little separation there, and then it goes right back up. And that's our SDR. And it looks like our SDR is a little jagged there. So we go back. So I don't know if that's just maybe an old wipe or something. I don't know if a tree root went through and pushed it down. Whenever I first pushed out, it looked like it was a 45, but I think that this section is just something went over top of it. And then we have a little root section here that isn't great. It's really the only roots in the line though. And everything else looks pretty normal. Pretty normal and pretty good. A little bit of a gap there. Not terrible. And then we go into our cast iron at 18 feet. Our cast iron's a little rough. Looks like it could be maybe benefiting. It might benefit from a descale. I'm not seeing really the characteristic channel in the bottom, like the bottom's rotting out. The area of concern was within a foot, maybe two. It was right by where those T's are for the... right by where the T's are for the tie-in at the ABS. A lot of hair. There's something tying in right there. And so earlier I thought that possibly I could see some cracks, but I don't know if it was just hair. So now we're in the ABS, so we're 5 feet out from the clean out. The ABS section has a tie-in there for whenever they did a tied in a group during a remodel, and that's pretty much it. That's the ABS section 4 feet away. And then off to the right, that little dark line is what I thought might be a crack, but I don't know if that's a crack or if that's hair, because there's so much scale. It would be hard to see if there was a crack in cast iron without it being quite rotted out. This is a turn. So this is pretty close to our clean out. I mean, and the area on the other side of the wall that was wet is basically right here at this turn. And it's hard to see the other side of the pipe. But I could see how, I mean, it could be, but I just don't, it's very difficult to say, and I don't know if it would show itself in the form of a cracked, or wet concrete, rather. Don't know what that glowing string is. This is Grayson with Garvin's. Thank you.